Hey everyone, Electric Wolf here, and here doing a review, and I just seen Endgame a few days ago now. It was awesome. So I'd seen like half of the Marvel movies of the MCU movies before I saw Infinity War, and that's fine. Saw Infinity War like 3 months ago, like right before I saw Endgame. It was awesome. But, I guess just to say, this is a spoiler-free review, which you guys will probably know anyways in the title. But just wanted to say that because the movie just came out and you don't want to spoil it because yeah, it's a lot better if you just get the whole experience without it being spoiled first. This I don't even know where to start on this review. This is my first review for you guys. I guess I'll start with like some of the smaller parts. The acting in it was fantastic. A lot of people are saying that it's a very emotional movie. If you have seen the movies prior, it's definitely very emotional. The people that I saw it with, they were crying a lot. It was a very teary movie. Like, and so not like, oh, I'm big tough didn't cry, but it's like, yeah, it's just, I can see why people cried if they really enjoyed the series and really got invested in everything, because it's definitely the saddest of all of the Avenger movies. Of all of the Marvel movies, honestly, it's just the saddest. Like, it has its fair share of comedy and action, but like it is super sad. People are talking about how they were crying at the end of Infinity War. And Infinity War is not nearly as bad emotionally as Endgame was. Because Endgame is tying up all of these loose ends, tying up all these stories and all these lines and all these adventures that people have had for 10 years or 22 movies, and it's tying them up with a nice little bow and just, yeah, killing itself because, boy, that was a movie. There was definitely a fair share of flaws too. It it specifically makes its own logic for certain things, and then 10 minutes later it just obliterates all of its logic for those things without a second thought, without doubt. It's like, oh, you here are these laws that we have to do. Basically the next scene is like, nope, these laws don't matter anymore. So that was a little bit dumb, and it definitely sticks with a lot of people, which is fair enough because, you know, when you're just saying, oh, who needs these laws, literally just after you make them, it sort of sits badly with people. Other than that, like, as I say, it had its couple problems, but overall it was amazing. Even though there was a problems, I was still able to pull me back into the movie. I was able to still enjoy it. It wasn't one of those things where it's like it happens and then I wasn't able to, like, the movie wasn't watchable. No, it was good. Like, it happens and it sort of sits weird with you for a few minutes, but then the other things come up and you're like, okay, you get back into it. Yeah, it's a 3 hour movie, and it definitely shows it's a 3 hour movie because you're sitting there, you're watching this stuff happen. Excuse me, watching this stuff happen, and it just, like, a lot of stuff is filled into this movie. And I wouldn't say it's crammed because it is spaced out quite nicely. Honestly, it's builds up this nice story of it starts a little bit after Infinity War. So it starts off with people dealing with this grief of half of the planet is gone. Most of the people you know are gone. It's dealing with that for a good portion of the movie, and it's building things up in such a way that, obviously it's sad, but, and it goes over each person. It goes over each person at least a little bit, and you learn all these about these people, and you learn sort of how they're functioning or dysfunctioning with the fact that half of the world is gone. And, like, it's just these things that are slowly coming together, and they start building on top of each other in the movie until you get to the finale, which I'm not going to say too much, but it's pretty decently chunked finale. Because obviously they have to come to terms with the just everything with the destruction that has been created. Yeah, if anything, they could have probably cut out maybe 10 minutes of the film. Like, just a little tiny chunk of the film. But other than that, like, everything that they were doing flowed from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and it all worked out really well, and it flowed, for the most part, very smoothly. Except for, as I said, when they did when they built up their own rules, and then we're just like, oh, no, you don't need rules. We're the Avengers. That part didn't flow smoothly at all. But, yeah. If I were to say if it was better or worse than Infinity War, it would be hard to say. Infinity War definitely had a lot more action going on, whereas this one was definitely dealing with the aftermath of all that stuff a lot more. So depending on what you like in your movies, the effects in both movies are amazing. The script was fantastic. If anything, Endgame probably, or not, Infinity War probably had less plot holes and stuff than Endgame. I feel like they could have even used, like, maybe an extra month to work out the few little holes that they had, or a few big holes, or just the few holes that they had in Endgame. I feel like they could have used an extra month to smooth those out and to just not have to deal with that stuff, because it doesn't sit too hot in the movie, but you get used, like, it's not a huge thing, and there's so many cool things that do go on that let you feel good and, like, get into it. It's so good, and the jokes in the movie were amazing every single time. Like, every joke was fantastic. People were laughing at, like, when I was in theater, everyone was laughing, like, most of the time. Most of the time it was funny, and lots of people were laughing and, enjoying the jokes, because the jokes that they had were really well written. Say, except for maybe there's one joke in particular that definitely won't age too hotly, and it won't age well at all. But, they made a sign of their times reference, and lots of movies have those, so it's whatever. For those of you who don't know, it's a Fortnite thing, because apparently Fortnite and Disney made a deal of some sort, and Fortnite has Marvel characters, and Marvel has, like, 3 seconds of Fortnite, so it's nothing that really lasts too long. It's like a quick little joke, and then it's gone. Yeah, it was good, and it was very interesting watching people deal with the aftermath of everything. As far as the whole movie goes, they did what I thought they would do in the movie, but they did it in such a way that I was a little surprised at how they did it, and they did it in a way that I wasn't expecting them to, and it was in such an awesome way that I wasn't too upset about it, because I'm like, oh, they're gonna do X and Y and then blah blah blah, but they do that, but they did it in a different way than what I was thinking they were gonna do, and it just felt awesome when they did it. And I can't say too much about what they did specifically because that's spoilers, but when you see the movie, you'll know which scene I'm talking about, and you'll know why I say it was a pretty awesome scene. I feel like this movie came to such a definitive end for everything, and it was really nice seeing just everything sort of go, and everything that's been building up for 10 years, 22 movies, because I've seen like half the movies before, but none of them really had a definitive end, especially the most recent few, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't remember the other movies that came out right before this, but yeah, it's nice just having a nice definitive end, and just seeing all this stuff like wrapped up really nicely. Even though, of course, you, of course they do still leave a few holes in there, a few little things that are like, ooh, what could this lead into? But that's to be expected from Marvel when, they're still going to make movies and they're still going to make more stuff off of this. So it's like, of course there's going to be a few little holes, but it felt nice. And I know a lot of people too have been started burning out because there is so many movies. I, for one, I watched the first couple Marvel movies, and then they just started making so many, and by the time I was able to watch the next one, I was already burnt out because I'd only seen like 2 or 3, and I was already so burnt out before I was watching a few others, because I had already missed, in like 4 years I missed like 8 movies, and I just, I was like, okay. So I stopped caring about Marvel for like, because I saw Captain America, first Avengers, and the 3 Iron Man movies. I really enjoyed the Iron Man movies, but then after that, I wasn't really caring about the other movies too much. Until I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, which was 3 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago, and I saw that, and it was an amazing movie, because, it was very different from a lot of the other movies I'd been seeing around the time. It's nice having something a little bit more light and very funny and very jovial. And that sort of got me back into it, and there's a few other movies that I'd seen along the way, not along the way, but I'd seen after that too. Like Ant-Man, stuff like that, and just, I really enjoyed those ones. They were, nice, nice sillier movies, a little bit lighter movies. And so when I'd seen Endgame, I had the knowledge of Iron Man, the 3 Iron Man movies, and like general knowledge from other movies in general, like Black Panther and stuff like that, and I knew some definite things from like Ant-Man, from excuse me, and what's going on. And when I'd seen like Ant-Man and stuff like that, like I had enough things built for me that I understood the gist of the movie, and I knew enough of the characters and stuff that I was able to fill out any blanks that I didn't 100% know for sure. And it was really just a nice end to all of those things, except for the ones that they're making in the future, because they still make movies in the future. It was also, no, I was gonna say it was weird seeing something that happened, but no, there's nothing that was super weird. Yeah, I felt it was a nice way to end the series. And apparently after Spider-Man, I think they're taking a year off, which is good. I feel like Marvel needs that year off to to, make some movies, and I feel like the fans need a year off to recover from the movies and, let everyone sort of relax and then start wanting more. I feel like that's a good decision on their part, so then people aren't Endgame and then more and then more and more, and then people get burnt out again. I'd say this is a very, very nice way to sort of say we're done with movies for like a year, which everyone knows in Marvel terms that's like a 4-year gap is a 1 year. Like they used to making 2 movies a year, and supposedly they were going to be making 3 movies in a year, which is insane. But apparently they're taking a gap after this, which is nice. Gives everyone a chance to sort of watch the movie, really get in that 3-hour monster of a film. There was... Is this a spoiler? Not really. I also hadn't seen Captain Marvel before this movie, because Captain Marvel came out like right before Infinity War did it, or Endgame did, sorry, and I'm like, oh, well, I didn't care about Captain Marvel. Thankfully, you don't need to know you don't need to see that film to know what goes on in Endgame, because while she's in it, she's not a MacGuffin, thankfully, because that just sort of would have been weird considering, like, yeah, it came out in February, so, like, I mean, I guess there was a pretty good span between the 2 movies, but, like, March, April, May, yeah, like a 2-month span between movies, so it's one after the other, and, it was, like, if I had seen the movie, I would have probably understood who and what she was a little bit better, but I didn't feel it was a necessity. Yeah, it was a really full movie. They did a lot of things too that I wasn't expecting for them to do, and it was also kind of nice because, like, well, while there's no real plot twists, like, they have sort of one plot twist at the beginning. Then other than that, it sort of goes pretty straightforward. Mostly what you're expecting. There's a couple. There's one plot twist later on. It's yeah. So there's like 2 sort of plot twists that you don't really see coming. The second one you sort of expect something like that is going to happen, but like you're not sure what it is, and they do it in a really good way. But they give you what you come for. They give you what you want in a good way. It's not like, oh, here's fan service. Like, yeah, no, it's like you're just in there. You're like, this is gonna be a 3-hour movie. They fill out a 3-hour movie, and you're like, yeah, you're on it. It's an enjoyable ride. It's nice to get off. Just to relax for a bit. Obviously it's Marvel, so it's Disney, so the effects were amazing. Like, you're looking through it and you almost... I saw it in IMAX, and there were times where I almost could feel the movie, like, around me, because they go all out with the 3D, but not in the Spy Kids 3D way, but in a we will put you in this world sort of way. Because, like, you see the Spy Kids as the example. When they did 3D, it's like, oh, look, 3D. This was like, yes, it is 3D, but you kind of almost forget that it is 3D at certain points, because, like, you're just so drawn in, and it just sort of feels like it's, like, you're almost a part of it, and, like, it's really just well put together, and you're just like, oh. And then, you have your moments of sadness, and that's sort of where you forget that it is 3D, and then some action happens, and you're like, oh yeah, it's 3D again, because this boulder's flying by my face, and, like, it's a wider range of things, and it's hard to put a specific note on this 3-hour movie, because obviously it's a 3-hour movie. But if I were to sort of define it into 1 or 2 genres, because there's 3 that I can think of, like, it's definitely like comedy, definitely action and definitely a drama. If I were to say like it, the main focuses would probably be like drama and action, and those are pretty well paced and split in the movie. And the characters who they give you what you expect from the characters, for the most part. And like they give you what you expect from the characters with little twists. Like obviously you're expecting Captain America to be awesome and kick butt and like be a good fighting hero and keep everyone happy, and he does that. There's also a couple things like that you don't expect from him, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I just wasn't expecting it. And with Tony, you're like, oh, obviously he's gonna be this smart super genius that we've all grown to know in the last few movies, and he does what he does. He is just that smart genius, but he also does stuff that you're not expecting from him. There's a character though that really develops within the first little bit of the film, and it's something two characters that really develop in the first few minutes of the film that you never really expected, but it does feel, it feels natural that happens. One they just sort of gloss over, and that was sort of a shame because it was a more major character, and the one that they went more into depth of was a more minor character, which was a very strange way of doing things. But like the characters were great, and it was great watching them develop from that movie, from like Infinity War to Endgame, and it was great watching them for the first bit of the film, like just dealing with the Infinity War, because it really shows them that they're just like human, and it's like, yeah, we have to deal with this stuff. We have to deal with the fact that half of the population is gone. We have to deal with trying to get back on our feet. And like it really humanizes these superheroes, which also sort of makes it a lot sadder, just because like it's such a heavy movie for the first bit, and you're not expecting it to happen, and things just happen, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a great movie, and I think you guys would all enjoy it too. Like if you're a fan of the Marvel movies, or if you're a fan of some Marvel stuff, like you only need to see a few of the films to fully understand what goes on. Like if you don't watch, you see like I think just 2 Iron Man films, Captain America, both Guardians of the Galaxies, Doctor Strange, and both Ant-Man films. You basically know everything that's going on. So it's still 8 movies to watch, but like you'll be left out of the loop for a couple things, but like you'll have enough general knowledge to understand. You just won't have the full knowledge to fully enjoy, which kind of good, kind of bad. Like I said, I only seen like half the film, so I didn't fully have the depth, so kind of sucks for me to not be able to enjoy that movie as much as other people. Even so, it was great, and it was super enjoyable. Like, if I might watch it again. Actually, I definitely will watch it again. I'll probably do a spoiler review within the next week here. And I might have someone to talk about the spoilers with. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have a special guest or not, but obviously when I put it up, you guys will know, because it'll be in the title. Yeah, it's hard to talk about things with this without spoiling it, because there is so little fluff in it. Because like they split up the movie very nicely into the three acts, and like it's sort of built in a traditional movie fashion of like, this is act 1, 2, and 3. but it's done in such a way that it doesn't feel like, oh, you're jumping from act to act to act. It feels like a story is being told, and if I talk about certain parts of the story, then that reveals stuff that happens earlier and later in the story. So can't think of much more to talk about. So I think this will be a good place to end this review. I know it's more of a ramble than a review, but I'm just trying it out, seeing if you guys like it, and if you guys like my reviews, then I'll probably do more. At the very least, want to do an Endgame full review, spoilers and everything, just so I have more than like 20 minutes of stuff to talk about. Because there's a lot to cover in that movie, and it will be nice just to sort of talk about it and give you guys two chances to see what people think of the reviews. So, if you guys like this, please leave a like and comment down below, and let me know what you think about me doing some more reviews on this channel. And let me know the general idea of what you thought of the movie, because obviously we can't do spoilers in this comment section, but in the other one we can do spoilers and we can have huge conversations about it. Other than that, this is Electrical signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.